Hi, today's chapter is called When New Zealand Was Round. On the old map of the world, Grandad told me, New Zealand, the North Island and the South Island, fitted neatly together into a circle. It was all one round country. But you told me you drew the first map of New Zealand and you said it was the North Island, the South Island and Stewart Island then. Oh, that's another story, said Grandad, waving his hand. This one's about the old map of the world. Before Captain Cook drew the map. Before Captain Cook, before Tasman, before Kupe, even before Maui. New Zealand was round. The North Island and the South Island fitted together in a circle. Why isn't it like that now? Well, you know how your grandmother never able to leave well enough alone? Well, I made the mistake of showing her the old map of the world, and when she saw that New Zealand was round, nothing would do but she must fiddle with it, pulling it this way and that until she tore it in two. The South Island came away in her hand and she stuck it lower down on the map, and then she ripped off the North Island and stuck that further up, and that's how New Zealand got to be the shape it is today, long and skinny. Your grandmother dropped some bits she'd torn off, picked them up and stuck them back any old how, and that's why we've got the Coromandel Peninsula, Banks Peninsula, Rangitoto and Stewart Islands and all the other rocks and islands along the coast. Do you mean Granny changed the shape of New Zealand? I've told her again and again to leave things as they are, but she always knows better, giving them a tug here or there. New Zealand was much better before she tore the map and made it long and skinny. Why? Well, when New Zealand was round, everything else was round too. So if anyone wanted to go somewhere, they just rolled there. We didn't have to buy cars and the price of petrol didn't keep going up. There was no stink either. New Zealand racehorses were round. People came from all over the world to buy our yearlings, and they rolled so fast that they won whatever they went in. New Zealand was very rich in those days. Well, what happened to the racehorses after Granny pulled the map apart? Well, you can't go changing the shape of the country without changing everything else. Instead of being round, our racehorses went square with a leg at each corner and a tail at one end and a head at the other. Instead of rolling so fast, they came last in all their races. People turned a different shape, said Grandad. Look at your average New Zealander and you'll see that they're quite square. And once we grew arms and legs in the corners, we couldn't roll any longer. So we had to buy cars and tyres and petrol. But New Zealand was all right before your grandmother mucked around with the old map. That night I asked Granny if it was true that she had torn the map of New Zealand and ripped North Island away from the South Island. But she said, you've been listening to your grandfather again, haven't you? Well, he told me that New Zealand used to be a different shape on the old map until you tore it apart. Sometimes I could tear that man apart myself, said Granny, and she looked at a photo of Grandad that she keeps on the mantelpiece. I shut up then, but tonight, when everyone's asleep, I'll tiptoe out into the kitchen and hide Grandad's photo.